there's an injustice against you or someone you love or someone you believe in, stand up. Don't sit down on them, if they need you.
Welcome to Popcorn Planet's Pop Culture Justice. I am Andy Signore. I'm so excited to be here with Steph the Alter Nerd, and it's Kim. How you ladies doing?
Hey up, everyone. Not doing too bad. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
I'm doing great, and I'm so happy to have you. I mean, I'm doing great in life, but I'm sad today because we did get some confirmation about this Nicola Bulley case that we're going to break down, and a lot of new information coming in. Also, people turning on us on Grizzly True Crime. What is going on? Oh, we got to talk about the state of things. A lot of people are upset. We're going to explain why. But beyond all of that, we also have some really huge news regarding this channel that you're not going to want to miss. Steph, I'm not teasing this. I think fans are going to be, their minds are going to be blown. Some people have speculated they're going to be shocked. Oh my God, you're not going to miss this one. We'll get to that a little bit later in the show. I'll keep teasing it. Mods, keep teasing it. Take your guesses in the comments. But serious topic. I want to get into this topic of Nicola Bulley because a lot of new updates have come out. And I want to make sure we address this new information. Now, first news of the day is, yes, they did confirm and identify that it was Nicola Bulley. The body that was found in the reeds yesterday has now been confirmed as Nicola. And it's just a tragic, devastating loss. This is not what anyone wanted. But we still have questions, and we're going to address some of that as well as who found her. Well, it was a psychic medium. That's right. No, that's not made up. This is real. We're going to break this down and so much more. Before we get into this and our thoughts, and then also how a lot of you reacted to our business report over the weekend, we posted a public data about the company of Paul and Nicola, and I found it relevant. I'm not going to apologize for it, and we'll talk more about it, but I know a lot of people were upset or disappointed with us. Well, I got a lot of thoughts to go there. Before we do any of that, though, I think it's the best place to start is to share the 4-minute press conference from the authorities where Nicola's family had them read a statement. So I think let's start there. Here it is. And then we'll be back to sort of react. If you haven't yet seen this, I think this sums up things that we're going to discuss pretty well.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sadly, we are now able to confirm that yesterday we recovered Nicola Bulley from the River Wyre. Nicola's family have been informed and are of course devastated. Our thoughts are with them at this time, as well as with all her loved ones and the wider community. We recognise the huge impact that Nicola's disappearance has had on her family and friends, but also on the people of St Michael's. We would like to thank all of those who have helped during what has been a hugely complex and highly emotional investigation. Today's development is not the outcome any of us would have wanted, but we hope that at least it can begin to provide some answers for Nicola's loved ones. They remain foremost in our thoughts. The case is now being handled by His Majesty's Coroner. The family have asked that we read a statement on their behalf. I'll now hand over to Detective Chief Superintendent Pauline Stables to do that.
Nicola's family have asked that we release the following statement on their behalf as follows. Our family liaison officers have had to confirm our worst fears today. We will never be able to comprehend what Nikki had gone through in her last moments, and that will never leave us. We will never forget Nikki. How could we? She was the centre of our world. She was the one who made our lives so special, and nothing will cast a shadow over that. Our girls will get the support they need from the people who love them the most. And it saddens us to think that one day we will have to explain to them that the press and members of the public accuse their dad of wrongdoing, misquoted and vilified friends and family. This is absolutely appalling. They have to be held accountable. This cannot happen to another family. We tried last night to take in what we have been told in the day, only to have Sky News and ITV making contact with us directly when we expressly asked for privacy. They again have taken it upon themselves to run stories about us, to sell papers and increase their own profits. It is shameful they have acted in this way. Leave us alone now. Do the press and other media channels and so-called professionals not know when to stop? These are our lives and our children's lives. To those who genuinely helped and supported us privately, we thank you. The community support in St Michael's, friends, neighbours and strangers has been nothing short of comforting and heartwarming. Friends, you know who you are, thank you. Our hearts truly break for others who have missing loved ones. Keep that hope alive. Finally, Nikki, you are no longer a missing person. You have been found. We can let you rest now. We love you, always have and always will. We will take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Now, before we stop, I want you to hear the state of things. So that's a very, very sad and tragic statement. I want you to watch and listen closely as the reporters are left thinking, I guess, the cameras aren't recording.
I'm back on this time, get in. Hello there, you there. Hi Gina.
What the hell's so damn funny?
You know?
Like, that's horrifying. That's horrifying. I'm laughing at the ridiculousness of, I can't believe there are reporters at the scene after hearing that message laughing. Now, I got thoughts. We're going to talk about what they just said about the press, etc., because I know Steph's got similar thoughts, and we're going to talk about it respectfully. But my God, the press is just sitting there laughing after such a sad message and emotional response from the family. It's just disgusting. They have no shame ever. And to be fair, there are, they're right. There are outlets that absolutely have no shame. But, as Steph and I were talking before the show, I don't know. They went to the press. Like, if it wasn't for the press, I don't know if Nicola would have been found. Guys, Nicola was found by a psychic medium who was clearly out there because of the press putting this story out there. When you alert the press, it comes with good and bad. And I understand it's not fair, it's not right, but it is what it is. The media becomes the media. And there are certain outlets that will do it worse and certain people will, do it better. But at the end of the day, it wasn't the police that found the body. She was in the reeds, and it took a psychic medium to go to the reeds. And we're going to get a little bit more in depth into this, but I want to keep teasing it. I want to give you a little bit of it. This psychic medium, Jason Rothwell, who was in the pictures pointing, turns out is a psychic medium. We have the full statement. We're going to go through. People have now he's had to sort of confirm because people recognized him. And we'll get to that in a second. But again, when the police boffed it this much, when they didn't even find the body and we didn't check the reeds, that makes me angry. And it makes me angry because it's like, well, I don't know this family. This case has been so all over the place. I've had red flags. I feel like the business data we put out over the weekend was valid. It was public data. I did some speculation. I did, but I made it very clear, like, guys, this is speculative. We don't know. Regardless of where the speculation went, I feel like there was clear potential motive when you see such financial duress in public business records. This wasn't like we were talking about her menopause or her private details. This was public business data that we thought, you know what, this is relevant. This could have, yes, it could imply insurance fraud and things if you want to go there. And I made it very clear that's very, you're going down a speculation thing that we have no proof on. But for me, I said very clearly, more importantly, I think it can set one's mindset of a motive of why would you do that to your kids? It just adds more to the weight of how I feel that the sadness of this case. And so, yes, people like us, we out there, and I guess that's where I'm like, are they calling us out because we did? Are they calling out Grizzly because she was out there, trying to get these details? At what point do you vilify the press? And what point do you realize, well, this is all in part to make sure we find Nicola? And that's the conversation I want to have today. Now, before we get to that whole conversation, I want to go around the bend. Steph, what is your reaction to this statement? Obviously, I imagine we're all horrified by the reporters laughing, obviously. But overall, what do you think of the family coming forward with this emotional, reaction and pretty much saying, F the press, how dare you, it's your fault?
No disrespect to them, but they invited the press in. The father did an interview a couple of days ago. I've sent you the links in boss level. The father did an interview with the press. The partner's done a couple of interviews with press. Even at a certain point with this Daily Mail article that I sent you, revealed they'd spoken about marriage, planned for their 2 little girls to be bridesmaids. Like, they went to the press, the family, the friends even, to defend them. You cannot say, right, we're going to go to press. Press, help us get the awareness out, this, that, and the other. But then blame the press and vilify them at the same time. Because Andy's right. When you involve the press, comes with the good and the bad. The genie's out of the bottle at that point. You cannot control it. The press are going to say what they're going to say, and you're going to have to take it. It's unfortunate that some of them did go too far, to which they did hurt the family. But I think it's kind of hypocritical in a way. No disrespect, for them to blame and vilify the press when they used the press in the first place to try and find Nicola and to raise that awareness. If it wasn't for them doing that, then maybe this psychic medium, as he was going out on that walk to the River Wyre, may not have done that in the first place and may not have found Nicola.
Well, and
so
you're spot on.
Just
to echo in like what you just said, not only what 7 bombshells from Nicola Bulley's partner, Paul, and I did make an error. I keep saying her husband. I'm in a long-term relationship where I refer to my partner as wife. Technically, she's my partner. I did make that error. I will correct that. Her partner, Paul, was in this interview. And again, Paul said he wants to keep all options open about her disappearance. Like, dude, you uncorked the genie. You did it. Like, I get it. Emotional. I've never tried to definitively blame this guy, but I'm sorry. Imagine if we always believed the families. Would you believe Brian Laundrie's family? Like, I mean, they're different cases. There was a lot more there, I think, that made us think nefarious purposes. But my God, we got so much flack for like reporting some information, public information that I felt like we did respectfully. At this point, when you say all options are open, you don't get to just go, no, I changed my mind. Like, the police are the ones we should be angry at. And he's not. He's blaming the press. The police made this the circus that it was. If they had done their job, this would have all been solved within days and there wouldn't have to been so much speculation because it wouldn't have gotten picked up as much. Go ahead, Steph.
They also made it a circus when the police released that private information about Nicola. About her menopause, her mental health issues. So, to me, it's a case of, you cannot go to the press and be like, right, we need to raise awareness, she's missing, we need to find her. Put all that information out like they did, and the police as well, they did the same. And then once Nicola is found by a member of the public, not the police, which would have been through all the awareness that the family and the police built up themselves via the press, you can't then turn around and say, right, we're going to vilify the press completely. You just can't do that.
Well, Kim, I want to get your thoughts. I want to start not to interrupt, but because I see a lot of people just like, they're like, no, it wasn't found by a medium. Yes, it was. So and then I'm going to go to you right next, Kim, but just so people, I don't keep stalling here. All the pictures of the people who pointed This person, there's several pictures. There's the police with the guy pointing who found the body. The guy pointing, the guy in these pictures is a psychic medium. His name is Jason. We'll call him Jason. And he and his friend had been cross-referenced their social media presence, spoke to police who later retrieved the body. So yes, it was, I don't know if they were also walking a dog, but no, it wasn't dog walkers as the press keeps saying. It was a spiritual medium who had apparently been looking, had felt that, said here, was using his gift to try and help the search for the missing mother of two. So again, someone who was out from the public because of the press was out there finding it. Now this person has now made a statement. So I thought, let's just read this quickly so you actually can have the full information. The case of Nicola Bulley, and I can't vouch for this guy, just so we're clear. I don't know what, but you can't make this stuff up. This is what happened. It is with great regret that I have to address this issue at this time, but due to the wide number of private inquiries and threads now circulating on YouTube, TikTok, I feel I should put out a brief statement. And obviously, as has obviously become apparent, yes, it is myself and the images in the media currently circulating relating to the case of Nicola Bulley. And yes, yesterday morning, it was myself and a friend who reported and assisted the police in the recovery of a body from the River Wyre. Such as it is would be inappropriate of me to discuss in any further detail anything we may know about that body at this time, considering a formal identification of that body has yet to be confirmed. It now has. It is Nicola. I would also like to just say a huge thank you to the Lancashire Police for their help, support, and the open-mindedness with which they dealt with us following our call. Spiritualists or mediums are obviously not something the police come across every day, and I appreciate the respect given to us both. It is also important to mention I was not asked by the police or Nicola's family to become involved in this case, but having seen the wild speculation and hurtful commentary that has been ongoing and having previously assisted in the recovery of another individual, I decided to use whatever gift it is we mediums possess to try and locate Nicola Bulley. I would, however, stress again, I cannot confirm the body. Now we can. My thoughts and prayers are with her family, friends, and loved ones at this time, and I do hope that it is indeed Nicola. They can find some peace with this. If it is not, I would send my prayers to the family of whoever it may be. I would add as a final note, I will not be giving any further information or commentary at this time regarding the work involved in finding this person, nor is it my place to engage in any discussion on how that body came to originally be in the water. Now, I hope that's the case, or, as many are speculating, I've seen in the comments, this guy's sus. Is he trying to build his business? My gosh, he'll get a ton of clients now, regardless of whether it was his medium that found it or just the fact that no one checked the reads, or was the body put there later? Guys, I have so many more questions, and the police didn't help at all. But yes, this person wasn't just out there walking their dogs, which the media is telling you is what happened. This person came out specifically to use their powers to find her. So again, why are we bashing the press? I don't get it. I mean, I get it. You're hurt. You're emotional. But my goodness, we all got to take a step back and realize the breast comes with good and bad. And that's just the reality of what you got to deal with. Kim, I want to go to you. I'm sorry it took so long to set all that up, but what are your thoughts on this? The medium, the fact that we've now found her, the fact that everyone's freaking out, that people are speculating. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
I feel like we're watching a real life example of the Spider-Man meme where they're all pointing at each other, being like you and you and you and you and you, and everybody's blaming each other. Everybody's blaming each other. But the reality is the cops made mistakes in this case. There were points where I believe the media also overstepped. If the family had made direct contact with ITV or whatever, media outlet and said, we are not making any more statements, please leave us alone, we are grieving, we don't need this, and then they continued to push, that is unacceptable. And my guess is that is specifically what they were referring to. And at the same time, family, you can't be mad that the press is reporting when you're inviting them, like it looks like, into their house or their meeting for like interviews and things like that, multiple members of the family. Everybody wants to have their cake and eat it too, and that's not going to happen. And this is a case that there is a lot of gray. Everybody wants things to always be black and white. This case is so gray. And I see people blaming everyone and their mom for everything. And people are just trying to do the best they can. And people wanted to find this woman. And the other thing I will say about the medium is I personally know a medium who has worked with law enforcement. And I am aware of others. And a lot of them, doing this is not their bread and butter. They have regular jobs. They have normal things. And what they do is they follow where their gift takes them, and they try to help people with what it is they have. And to me, that's what I see this person doing. And I commend them for it. I think he was forced in a way to have to say something because people made the connection of who he was with photos. And if he had stayed quiet, the narrative would have continued. And I think he's been very respectful with what he said in his statement, that he's not going to talk about it anymore in that regard, that it's not his place, if anything else that he has seen or knows. And ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm just happy that we found a body, because those little girls, her children, deserve to know where their mom is and start healing. And I think that's what's important. Everything else is just noise.
Agreed. Well said. But now, how did she get in the water, right? That's now the next issue, because everyone just wants us to move on and say, well, it's over, let the family grieve. But Steph, you said something to me that I thought was, because look, the reality is, full disclosure, like, yeah, we got some hate this weekend. We did. In fact, here was one: absolute effing disgrace. This was regarding the piece we put together about the business motive. Effing disgrace. You need canceling for S like this. Whatever this is predatory behavior. The family is asked specifically not to speculate, seeing as you've read too much, but decided to make a video anyway. Disappointing. The family has more than enough to deal with without your speculation. I'm surprised at you, Angel. Shameful behavior. I thought better of you, especially after seeing your coverage of Johnny Depp. It's always, I liked you because of Johnny Depp, but now you're doing something else and I hate your guts. Guys, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I'm not going to apologize. I'm not taking the video down. I got more questions than any now. And I'm sorry, there absolutely was financial motive. And the frustrating thing about this whole thing, like, nobody watched the video. Like, all these people, they complain, they just say we're grifters, we're just, making money off of, dead people is what they try to get, whatever they want to think. I hope they share that same energy with every single news outlet out there, because this is news. And every person who's watching, you should also share that energy to them. All you guys are watching, you're just as shameful as us, because, my God, we have feelings, we get emotional about a lost mom, and we want to find it. And then we as a community gather together, we want to figure out what went wrong, red flags go off, we all start to talk. Shame on us for trying to help. Shame on us, because if we didn't, what would have happened? Think about Gabby Batillo. It wasn't the stupid police. It was Red, White, and Bethune. YouTubers ended up finding Gabby Batillo. A psychic medium just found Nicola Bulley. I'm sorry. Yes, sometimes we do bad. I'm talking about the Joseph Morrises who are out there making shit up. Literally making things up. I'm talking about Ryan Upchurch. Yeah, I'll call him out. Literally saying that she doesn't exist and it's all made up. Yeah, that's when you go too far. There are definitely instances where you go too far and you need to be called out. But I'm sorry, if you respectfully speculate within your community and you do it in a way that's respectful and tell everybody, guys, this is a theory. Don't go running out there. Let's not go crazy. Don't message the damn family. Let's all just, theorize and talk about it, because that's what we do here. And I think that's okay. And that's what we're going to keep doing, regardless of what these people say. And I got to be honest, the one who does it the best, guys, is Grizzly True Crime. Gisela is so good. She's so respectful in the way she covers things. I am always trying to get her on, but I know she's always busy, because this is where she excels. And I will happily send you over there, because she covers this way better than I can. And she's just a good person. She doesn't get in the drama, but she reports everything. And I respect that about her. She lets you guys make up the decision, just like we try to do. And she's getting it too. I mean, what, you horrible money grabbing. I didn't know I'm forbidden to ask my community how they feel about a video of YouTubers sharing a body bag being pulled out of the water. I asked if we should report it based on the 150 emails raising concern. Here she is, like, bringing attention, like, we should go report this person who posted the body bag being pulled out of the water. She's trying to be good, and she gets these emails, just how awful you are, et cetera, et cetera. It's just unwinnable. It's what part of the reasons I don't like true crime, because people get so invested that they do sometimes go too far, like the Ryan Upchurch community, or they just get so mad at you for attempting to ask questions. And I'm sorry, I don't know how did she get in this water? How did the police not find her in the reeds? You're telling me they brought in that expert who definitively was like, he's not in the river. And then no one's like, well, let's take a day going through the reeds. We've walked through the water. That's the complicated part. Has someone just, like, sifted through the reeds? I'm just, like, at a complete loss. It's like, it's kind of hard to accept. And so for the family then immediately jump to, like, vilifying the press as their only sort of thing, it makes me now wonder more, like, are they hiding something? I don't know, Steph. I go back to you. What are we supposed to do now with all this craziness? I mean, we got to keep moving the way we go and ask the questions, right?
So, firstly, just to rewind a little bit in terms of last weekend's video, the information that Andy provided, okay, I got it first and foremost. How did I get it? It's public information. It's on a government website called Companies House in the UK. When you are a company in the UK, your financials, how it's set up, who the shareholders are, is all public information on a government website called Companies House, okay? So all we were doing was reporting on public information and speculating on a potential theory that there may have been a financial motive. That is it, okay? Now, in regards to where we go from here, well, Andy and I were talking about it before the stream. And the thing is, this is the thing. There are more questions than answers even now at this point. The body is now with the coroner. The coroner is essentially going to make one of two decisions, right? Either there is foul play or there's not foul play, okay? Either way, there's going to be questions that are going to be following on from that. Well, if it's not foul play, well, why? What the deuce happened? If it is foul play, then again, what the deuce happened and who is ultimately responsible? This isn't going to end. It's not going to end. And the family, again, using the press as a vehicle to do their interviews, to try and find Nicola, to get her name out there, to make this case relevant in everyone's minds, it's got us to this point where we now want to know, okay, is it foul play or not? And either way, what happened? That is where I think it's going next, legitimately and naturally, given all the attention this case has had and everything that's been reported on. You cannot blame the public or the press for having this inquisitive mind.
Well, and not to interrupt you, Steph, but the own partner said it too. All
Right.
options are open.
Yep.
From the gob himself, from his own gob, he's saying that all options are open. You can't say all options are open, but then be like, oh no, takesy backsies. No, all options are not open anymore. You can't speculate. You can't do anything. Well, no disrespect, but if we go back to the Gabby Petito case, you know, if there was not that speculation, if there wasn't that public interest, Red, White and Buffoon may not have found that van that would have been the absolute key unlocking the case and finding her. And then finding Brian Laundrie to the point now where the Petitos and the Schmidts are in this court case against the Laundries at the moment trying to get justice for Gabby Petito. Well, that may not have happened. I would say, I would garner, I would wage, definitely wouldn't have happened. Here, you've got a similar situation. A female, Nicola Bulley, is missing. Where is she? The public is invited in to the whole situation, and it's a member of the public that's found her. If the case was not at the forefront of everyone's mind in the UK, Jason may not have then thought, okay, I'm going to go out, I'm going to walk along that river and see if I can find her. Wouldn't have done it. And done the police's job for them, mind you. So again, you cannot blame the press and the public for having an inquisitive mind about it when they're putting out information anyway. And Paul, her partner, turning around and saying all options are open. Genie's out of the bottle. You can't put it back in.
And to be fair, that as Kim said, you know, there are instances where it gets out of hand, and I pointed out a few, and I'm sure some of those press outlets they're even calling out probably went too far. Absolutely, it can get shameful. But I guess the warning shouldn't be, because it's weird. I see a class of people online are just like so sensitive to whatever the family says they're going to go support, and I understand where they're coming from. I want to be respectful of the family. However, I also I don't know this family, and I know I have red flags, and so I'm like trying to remain open of like, Okay, well, he could have been home, but that doesn't mean that there are cases that show that doesn't mean he's innocent until I get the coroner's report that really sort of definitively clears this all and makes it clear that this must have been an accident in the river. Then I think we can start to begin to maybe, hopefully, a lot of us move on. The sad reality is not everyone's going to move on. And the problem is once you add the press, it's unpredictable. You can't control it. And you can't be mad at them when they unravel because you brought them in. If they didn't go do those interviews, as Steph said, and said, no, leave us, we want our privacy, the police are on it, well, things would be different. Then you have the other side of the coin where you have the laundries, right, where they refused to say anything, and their silence became even more, bad. But at the end of the day, we were right. Their silence was for a reason. And so we have to be able to speculate. It sometimes really does help. Sometimes it doesn't. But if you want to open up your case so people can find her, then you got to be prepared for what the negative can be. Kim, what are your thoughts?
I was just going to say something that kind of bothers me is, I understand the, people being nervous about speculating too much, and we want to be respectful to the family and everything else. But personally, I think there's been one or two pieces of information that have been released to the public that I don't think were anybody's freaking business. And that was the personal medical information of Nicola. And that wasn't the press. That was the cops. So I don't really understand why people are coming at, reporters or people who talk about this on the internet that are reporting public information when that whole kerfuffle happened. And now we've got the watchdog on the situation with the cops in there. And this is what I mean. Everybody's just blaming each other. And they're pointing and wanting to yell at each other. But if we really take a step back and go, oh, maybe everybody in this situation isn't perfect. Maybe everybody's just trying to do the best they can because they want to bring somebody home. But, everybody can just stay mad and be bitter and scream because that's going to make the whole situation better, isn't it?
And perhaps the family's anger is misplaced. Instead of their anger towards the press and the public speculation, maybe their anger should actually be towards the police, the Lancashire Police Force, in terms of how they dealt with it in the first place. They're the ones that are in charge, guys. They're the ones that were in charge of the search, in charge of the investigation, in charge of what information was let out. Okay? They're ultimately the ones that where the book ends with. And so if they're I appreciate, the family is angry and I respect that. But respectfully, I think their anger is misplaced and it should be towards the police force. Ultimately, want the police that found him, that found her. He was a member of the public. That in itself, I would be angry about. How could they have missed that? How?
Well, and it feels like Paul, they agreed with everybody. He wants to keep all options open. He's going to do interviews, which I'm sure the police probably told him not to do. They don't like that kind of stuff being out there. They went and got their own diver. They went and did stuff against the police's suggestions. They put themselves in the spotlight. I know you're not prepared for the press. I saw Marcella and other made very valid comments. Like, nobody's prepared for the press. But to me, the lesson of this should always be, you need to prepare for the press. If you're in a situation like this, you got to know if you're going to go out there and start putting yourself in the story, you become a bigger part of the story. And if you go to complain to the internet and to the press, guess what's going to happen? They're going to double down. They're going to do it even worse. So it's just bad. It's bad move. And I'm not trying to be mean to the family. I can't imagine what they're going through, especially if this really was just an accident in the river, which, guys, it very well could be. More often than not, these cases we speculate and it ends up being nothing. But what's frustrating is the family, the police, the people who are supposed to be the experts, and the people involved have only just planted more and more red flags with the way they've been sort of responding to things, when, again, sometimes silence really is the best policy. And that goes to the police too. Should have never released that private information. And to see all this outrage towards Grizzly, towards us, towards even Sky, like, where's the energy towards the police who shared the private information? To me, that's the most egregious of all of it. And it's made us all, I think, want to talk about it more and figure out what happened. And so now, everyone's like, oh, leave the family, leave it. What if it's foul play? Are we supposed to still leave the family alone? Like, and again, I don't try to speculate and go down a wormhole and go spiraling, But what if they are involved? Like, what if he did try to do it? Like, we have to be careful. It's like, I always try to be careful. Like, I remember with the Kylie Rodney case, it got way too out of hand at times. And there were people who were just making shit up to make shit up. And so I don't want to do that in this community or myself, but it's hard. That's why true crimes is a sketchy place to get in. And I think Grizzly, the reason I've compared her lives, because I don't feel like she goes there too far. She's very respectful in her coverage. So try to find that in your true crime coverage of people who are at least going to be transparent with you and not send you down crazy wormholes. But in this case, I'm sorry. Yeah, until I get that coroner, true crime has showed me anything's possible. And until we get the coroner data to rule out foul play, everything is fair game, in my opinion, until then. And you know why I'm saying that? Because the partner told me so. He told me it was okay. All options are open. So I'm sorry. Don't be mad that you opened up the can and now you're upset that the worms have just gone all over the place. I'm not justifying the bad apples out there that are doing way worse, but start with the police, sir, because they should not have done what they've done. They made this case such a... My God, Steph, do you know this, River? Like, why didn't they check the reads? Like, I'm still at a complete loss of, like, is there any justification for this? And then why they had an expert and they told him, don't go to the reads? Like, what the hell? First of all, before we even get to motive or, not motive, but, the cause of death of the coroner, why on earth do you think it took so long to find her in the reads? Could she have been put there later?
Well, firstly, it took so long because the police are incompetent. As far as I'm concerned, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, Lancashire Police have been completely incompetent during this whole case. She should have been found much sooner than this. It is absolutely ridiculous. The company that was brought in, I believe by the family, if I remember rightly, to search for the additional search, I reported on it earlier on Popcorned Planet, so do check out that video. But in a nutshell, I go into more detail. In a nutshell, though, the gist of it is this. They were told to search a specific area of the river. They did that. They did not find her. Even if they were told, right, can you search this specific area where the reeds are? They wouldn't have been able to do that because the equipment that they use would not have been able to penetrate all those reeds to be able to find Nicola. They don't have that kind of specialist equipment to be able to search a reeded river area situation. It just wouldn't have happened. So, again, to me, it all comes down to the incompetence of Lancashire Police and how they've dealt with this case and investigated it all the way through. They should have checked the reads. They didn't. Why? The watchdog is now all over them like no one's business. Not only the police watchdog, but the Information Commissioner's Office is all over them. And the Home Office Secretary is all over the Lancashire Police because the police watchdog is concerned about the integrity of the investigation and what they did and what they didn't do and any incompetencies around that. The Information Commissioner's Office and the Home Office Secretary is up the backside of the Lancashire Police Force because of the information that they released about her mental health and the menopause. Why did that have to be in the public sphere? That is tantamount, in my opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, of victim blaming. Oh, because of her mental health, that's why she's missing this, that, and the other. She doesn't matter that. Find her. Why are you putting that out? So, yeah, they are being investigated. They are getting a lot of side eye at the moment from the watchdog, the government authorities. So, again, if there's anyone to be blamed, if any angle whatsoever, it should be directed to the Lancashire Police Force. They've got a lot to answer to, a lot of culpability to face here, in my opinion.
Right, and that's why we're not going to stop the speculation. Like, I think there's healthy conversation that obviously leads to some speculative talk. It does, and every time we do, we tell you when we're doing it. And when we do that, you guys, we're trying to help, make it clear to you, this is not factual. When we're speculating, we're talking about theories, because sometimes that brainstorming can make you uncover something else. Sometimes it's completely off base. Sometimes it goes too far. But you got to be able to do that in a respectful place where we can all just sort of listen to each other. And just one more comment before we pivot to some other stories and big news for the channel. If you're having trouble in a chat on any YouTube channel, I advise you just to close the chat for a bit. It's a very easy thing to do. Doesn't mean you have to leave the show. You can still watch us. You can hear our commentary. But, if you guys are having frustrations with people you're talking to in a chat on a YouTube show, just sometimes maybe focus on the show instead of the chat for a little while, and take a break and go back in. And I also really please, mods are going to be, I'm going to tell them it's okay to disagree, guys. We're all allowed to disagree. In fact, that's usually pretty good. It's healthy. It's really good to sometimes disagree, but please don't be hateful to one another. If you're being hateful or calling some names or being disrespectful to each other, well, that's when you cross the line. And that's not ever what we try to do here, ever. And that's not going to be tolerated. So please just be nice, cordial. You can disagree, learn how to agree to disagree. But this type of stuff, I see it. It can unravel, and people get very emotional in their responses or their frustrations. The reality is we don't know the answers, guys. We just don't. There's more questions to me than answers, and we may not ever get the answers. That's what's so sad about this. All we know is there's a coroner report on the way. The body has been confirmed. It is her. She was found by a psychic medium. That is not everyone's still sort of surprised and telling me that's not accurate. I'm sorry. It looks like it's accurate. That's the guy in the photos. He was there to use his gift to help. He was not there because he was walking a dog or because he was part of the police department. And it's because of people like Jason who do this, because of the press, because of the outpouring of people speculating that there's interest. And sometimes it's not spread to cases that deserve it. That's another whole part of this whole case. And it should be. I wish it could be. I wish everybody could be found. But the reality is sometimes some cases take more of the culture scape than others. And I don't know why. Can't tell you that. A lot of people have theories. I'm not going to get into all that. All I know is this case took a lot of attention, and I think rightfully because, and I'm going to say it, because the police did such a poor job. That's really what I think escalated this and made it even more longer. And the pieces just didn't add up. None of it made sense. They were so focused on just the river, but then they weren't even looking in the damn river. Something's off here. I don't know if it's the family. I don't know if it's the police. I don't know if it's a third party. I don't know. It could just probably, my hunch, yeah, there was an accident. She fell in the river and they just didn't search it well enough. Sometimes it's just the most unexciting version, right? It's probably what happened. But there's enough here to give me red flags to not be mad at people who are speculating this. So I'm not going to be mad at you guys if you're speculating, but please be respectful about it. Don't be hateful about it. Please don't include the family or any friends of Nicola in this. Be respectful in your coverage and you're talking about it. And things you take here when we're speculative, please make sure you're out there making it clear that that's speculative. It's not factual. We tell you that all the time, but I can't control when you guys go report it elsewhere. So please, everybody, try to be respectful, be civil. I appreciate you guys watching. We got so much more to unpack here, including massive news for this channel. You're not going to miss. It is good news. Oh, we're going to talk about that. We're going to speculate some more on this case and more, but I want to trim in here for the sake of the main video because there's so much more to talk about. If you guys aren't members yet and you want to support our coverage against the haters, pick a tier, hit that join button, and you'll become a member. You'll be able to watch the replays where you can watch the full show in its entirety after the fact. Also, make sure you go support and subscribe to Steph the Alter Nerd and it's Kim, both on YouTube. They got amazing content as well. And we got so much more in store for you regarding this and so much more. We will keep you up to date on this. No matter what they tell us to stop doing, we will respectfully make sure we are keeping our finger on what's happening here to make sure the truth is put out there. Appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure, at least if you can't afford to join, hit that subscribe button. A lot of you are watching today. Appreciate you. Hit the bell for alerts. Smash the like button so you actually get notified. YouTube decides when they want to notify you. We're trying on some new notification systems. Lots more in store for Popcorn Planet. You're not going to miss this news and so much more.